How to start business in the US and get a green card without investing into EB5 program. That is today's topic, right? That is today's topic. And I'm going to give you the blueprint, how you do that. Now, I do want to encourage everybody to stay till the end. You can actually ask me questions at the end. Some questions, we're probably not going to stay for another hour, but I will definitely provide the value. So meanwhile, I do want to ask you, please still till the end, keep your questions and stay muted. I appreciate it a lot. So what is my story and why should you actually listen to me, guys? Why should you listen to me? Karam, I need to mute you. Can you please mute yourself? Everybody keep yourself muted. Thank you, guys. I really don't want to respond to you anymore. So this is the last person I'm letting in. And then unfortunately, we have to get started. Okay. So what is my story? Why should you listen to me, right? That's the question. Some of you might not know me. So my name is Marieta. I am actually immigrant from Slovakia, Eastern Europe. I moved to the United States in 2007 with just $700. And this is true story. Sometimes people don't believe me. Yesterday, somebody commented on one of my posts, like I'm lying. Actually, I'm not lying. This is true story. If you cannot really comprehend this, that is not my problem. This is true story. I came to US with $700 and big American dream. Now, long story short, after I moved here, I was on temporary J1 visa. Then I enrolled to school and I ended up studying at Northwestern University in Chicago as a student. After I graduated Northwestern on F1 visa, I was forced to actually start my business, to put it in the perfect picture, because I moved to New York City. I was taking the bar exam to become a licensed attorney and nobody would hire me. This was back in 2010. The market was full of unemployed lawyers. Everybody was asking for H-1B. I was competing with American lawyers who were basically taking salaries of $20,000 per year, which was not the typical salary you would give to someone with my degree and qualification from Northwestern as a licensed attorney. So I couldn't get H-1B visa sponsor. Now, many of you are familiar with H-1B. Sometimes people think that's the way to go. No, it's not. In my opinion, it's actually the worst visa because these days there is also the lottery. So I was forced to actually start my business. And I started my company to basically first help myself and then help people like you. So actually I started, but I was forced to leave the country literally because my visa expired and I didn't want to overstay. So just to give you the picture, I was an attorney who was licensed to practice law in the United States and I could not practice. How about that? Because I didn't have a visa. So I was forced to leave the country and I started my business online from actually my home country. Now, I think this was probably 6 months later, I came back as an investor. And that is how I actually cracked the first code that I will be sharing with you during this webinar, how you can get investor visa. So after that investor visa, I was forced to learn everything about business, okay? How I can scale and so on. So I can eventually get my green card. Because here's the thing, there's no direct path from investor visa to green card. So everything that I will be sharing with you today took me actually 10 years or something like that. Long time, guys. Eventually, my businesses and my story was published in Forbes and other major media over the years. And I have helped actually to bring over $20 million to the US economy since 2010. Okay, that's the true story. And I've been helping entrepreneurs since then to not just move to US, not just start profitable business, but as well scale this business. We're talking 7 figures and get a green card without investing millions, guys. So what do I mean by that is that blueprint that we will be covering today. And this is exactly something I've been through myself. I help other people, so it works. However, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not for everyone. You have to be someone who is able to actually go through this journey, who is able to do, I would say, the way it is, take the steps that are necessary and do whatever it takes. So later on, I published book. Then I actually started to coach people. And here we are today. So that was my story. Now, looking back at my journey, guys, I can tell you right now that what is the best strategy if you are an entrepreneur, for an entrepreneur, because I've helped so many other entrepreneurs over the years, and I just know that what I will be sharing today with you is the best strategy, provided you are the best match or the fit for that strategy, because it's not for everyone, okay? So I can tell you the strategy, how you will go from the idea to actually successful and profitable business and green card in the United States. Also, what I will be sharing with you today is information that no lawyer gave me, because back then in 2010, when I was asking other lawyers, because I was fresh graduate, just admitted to practice law, I had no experience as an immigration lawyer. When I was asking other lawyers, what can I do with my case, they were all giving me misleading information, guys. Okay, this is the truth. Misleading information. So honestly, I can tell you that, okay, I'm gonna admit more people, sorry for that. Mute everybody. So I can tell you guys that, looking back, to be perfectly honest, like it was hard because I didn't have this blueprint. This blueprint that I'm giving you guys, I didn't have, okay? So, therefore, I'm going to be sharing with you information that are a little bit controversial, and some people might even not agree with me, and that's okay, because everything I'm sharing here is coming from my experience, if you know what I mean. So no lawyer actually gave me the blueprint, and I had to figure out on my own. That's the truth. Now, yes, it took me a long time. It took me 10 years, but it doesn't have to take you 10 years. That's the bottom line. That's why you are here. Now, what I truly believe is that the wrong way to go is if you are working with the wrong expert. And I'm not here to criticize anybody, okay? Just so it's clear. But I truly believe that if you work with someone who has never been through this journey, someone who is not really focused on entrepreneurs only, they're going to probably give you different opinions that are not necessarily accurate. And I know this because I consult with people. People come to me via consultation and they tell me all these different information from different quote unquote experts. And these are misleading information. As a result, they are not actually properly approaching their either E2 visa case or the long-term strategy. If the long-term strategy for you is actually obtain a PR green card and live your American dream, there is a very different strategy that you have to implement if you are in that category versus someone else who just wants to work in the US or get the green card through employment. And you probably agree with me on this, right? Okay, sorry, I have to admit more people, guys. So really, the information I'm going to be sharing here is something I've done myself and something is working for people who are in this category with this profile. So it's not for everybody, okay? And I am honest with you because not everybody will be actually eligible or qualified. Not everybody is born entrepreneur, you know what I mean? And it's just the way it is. Okay, so working with the wrong expert is big no-no, okay? Big no-no. You want to make sure you're working with someone who understands business as well as the investment part for your E2 visa application, as well the E2 visa application itself. And then someone who can actually give you the strategy if that's the case and you want to get that green card. That if that's the case, you need to have a appropriate strategy from the very beginning, unless it's going to take you 10 years, like it took me 10 years, right? So keep that in mind when you are making decisions, because this is a mistake that many E2 investors are actually unfortunately making. Now, number two, if you don't have a blueprint from the very beginning, also that's going to slow you down. You need to have a blueprint from the very, very beginning. And when I say very beginning, I mean before you even open your business in the United States, before you even incorporate, you need to have a blueprint. Number three, don't waste your time. Please don't waste your time with H-1B visa. I'm going to give you a story. This was right before my OPT was about to expire. Right after student visa, you get OPT for 1 year. I had OPT for 1 year. And right before my OPT was about to expire, I actually was able to find someone who was like, okay, I'm willing to sponsor your H-1B. This was older attorney who wanted my help. And this is what happened. This is true story. So we filed the application, and then I actually went back home to Slovakia for Christmas, and USCIS requested additional evidence. Well, this particular attorney vanished. I couldn't reach him. And therefore, my case was abandoned and I was not able to get H-1B. So this is just one example of what could happen wrong if you are relying on sponsors. In other words, if you are on E2 visa, you have full control, you are an entrepreneur, and therefore I love A2 visa, and I don't like H-1B. Also, there are so many different horror stories about H-1B visa sponsors and so on. And not to mention the fact that actually H-1B these days is a lottery, just like DV visa lottery, right? Because more people actually submit application than is the quota per year. So now you know why I don't like H-1B. Also, I don't like EB5, and I will talk about it during this webinar, why I don't like EB5. And this might be controversial for some, but this is my opinion based on my experience and based on what I've been witnessing and seeing. Lastly, if you actually want to waste time and money, right? And this is going to be another pretty big controversial statement from someone who graduated top 10 law schools in the United States, because Northwestern, my law school, is top 10 law school in the country. But looking back, it is sort of waste of time. I'm going to be honest with you, especially if you're an entrepreneur. You don't have to take this path, but this was the path that I only knew, okay? Plus, for me as an attorney, I had to go back to school, even though I was already an attorney when I arrived to the United States. But I had to go back to school, and I had to actually go through, the process and then apply for the bar exam and pass the bar exam. But for many of you entrepreneurs, you don't need to go to school. So thinking that you go to top university in the United States, and that top university is going to ensure your future, your top future, because you will find H-1B visa sponsor, and that H-1B visa sponsor is going to then sponsor you and get you a green card. Forget about it, guys. This is, in my opinion, this approach is a lottery, honestly. And again, it is coming from a place of me speaking from my experience, and I invested a lot of money to actually be able to study at that university. So I hope it makes sense. So this is the wrong way, guys. Now, let's talk about my blueprint for ambitious immigrant entrepreneurs, because in my opinion, that is way to go, okay? Now, before we continue, I want to make sure that you understand that this webinar is not for someone who is looking for you as sponsor or employer. I cannot help you if you are looking for sponsor or employer, okay? Also, if you are not entrepreneur, I cannot help you. If you are aspiring entrepreneur, in my opinion, that's enough, okay? Because when I first started, I was aspiring entrepreneur, and all you need is really, really to have that 100% commitment, and you will find a way. Because when I started, I had no idea that I was even an entrepreneur. I just was forced to start as an entrepreneur. Also, if you don't have ambitions, if you don't have the investment, if you don't have the persistence and brains, now you need to be willing to do whatever it takes. And I mean it, guys. Even if you don't have investment right now, okay, that's okay. You can figure it out, but you need to have the mindset. That's like the most important, I would say. That the mindset is the most important personality trait, if that's even trait, to be able to make this happen. Because the rest you can manage, but if you don't have the mindset, nobody can help you. Okay, so moving on, guys. So who do we normally work with, me and my company? So we typically work with game changers who are service-based entrepreneurs who are ready to become millionaires in the US, so 7 figures plus. Also, immigrant entrepreneurs who want to start business in the United States. They want to create 7 or 8 figure businesses, impact the world, and obviously on the way obtain a green card. Someone who is 100% committed and willing to invest time, money, and energy to make this happen. Typically, investors who invest from 200,000 plus, but you don't have to be a millionaire to actually go through this process. Literally, you don't have to be a millionaire. Now, the results really depends on your performance. Why? Because it is a combination of business skills, then investment, as well as the immigration side, which is the application. So it's not just about the immigration application. This is really something that requires entrepreneur skills. If you don't have them, that's okay. You can learn them, just like I've done myself. Obviously, there's no attorney-client relationship created by this webinar, and it is for educational purposes. So before we start, please do turn off your mobile phones or notifications, close the door if you need to, and be present, focus in the now, because like I promised, you're going to get great value out of this. So let's do this, guys. So the step number 1, when you are actually figuring this out, preparing on this journey, is to start with the end goal. Okay, start with the end goal. What is your end goal? Okay, so the end goal is typically, for many of you, green card in the United States and profitable business, right? Your end goal is not E2 visa. Your end goal is not work visa. Your end goal is to actually come to the United States and live your American dream. And you want to start this business that you enjoy and you make money with, right? That is the end goal. So really the end goal is bigger. And for many, many of my clients, the end goal is even bigger. The end goal is they want to make impact. They actually want to change the world or uplift humanity, call it whatever you want to call it. Certainly that is my end goal. And the visa on the way is just the vehicle to help you achieve that goal. Now, everybody wants to move to the US because you probably want to have a better lifestyle, or maybe you want to feel safer, or you want to expand with your existing business, right? So for everybody, the end goal is slightly different, but everybody who has that goal to live in the United States wants to have a green card, correct? So you probably agree with me on that. Now, I call this the American lifestyle, if you will. So really it's to make profit, be successful, and that's your American dream, right? Because you don't want to be here struggling, you know, be here on E2 visa, can't work anywhere else, focus on business that is not working, really want to have the lifestyle, have the money, and have that freedom and safety for most of you, right? So how do we get there? That's the end goal. Keep that end goal in mind. Once you achieve that end goal, then you start thinking how you can help humanity and so on, right? When we're thinking we want to go bigger. So step number 2, or the next logical step, is really to, once you understand your why, what is that end goal, how that looks like for you, right? What kind of business am I doing? Why am I starting this business? You have clarity around that. Then we are going to start company in the US. Now, start company in the US means incorporate entity, right? So we typically do either LLC, limited liability company, or we do corporation. When we do corporation, I typically recommend corporation only for people who are planning on raising capital, right? If you're someone who is not planning on raising capital and it's just you don't have any business partners, I recommend you stick with LLC, okay? You stick with LLC, limited liability company. And if you want to dig deeper into this, I do have specific videos on this topic. If you go to my YouTube channel, Immigration Biz, you can find videos on just LLC and the reasoning behind it. So we incorporate company, right? We incorporate your company and you don't need visa to do that, okay? Then we open a bank account. We open a bank account in the US, that is the corporate bank account. And again, for that, you don't need a visa. In fact, you don't even need to be here. That it's doable without you being present in the United States. And then we invest. We apply for E2 visa. And again, while we are doing this, we are keeping the end goal, the strategy, long-term strategy. How can we go from that E2 visa to that green card? So that is actually what I do with my private clients, with my premium clients who want to not just to get that E2 visa, but they also want to scale the business 7 figures, and then actually they want to get that green card. Because it's all connected, guys. Not every E2 visa investor can apply for this green card, right? So why E2 visa? That's the question people ask all the time. Why E2 visa? Well, as I was briefly mentioning before, E2 visa I love for multiple reasons, but here is the thing. E2 visa is rather fast visa. It is a sophisticated visa. It's not a black and white visa, kind of like H1B. What do I mean by that is that you actually need to meet the requirements. So make sure that you actually have business that is not marginal. And this is the point number 4 here, as you can see here. And I'm starting with this point because this is the most important, in my opinion, point. How you can, if you want to get the E2 visa, you need to make sure that your business is not marginal, guys. This is so important, guys, because let me explain what do I mean by that. If you actually invest substantial amount of capital, and this substantial amount of capital, let's suppose that it is 100,000. And by the way, everybody is asking, almost everybody is asking, hey, is it okay if I invest 50,000? And I'm like, I don't know. It depends, guys, because you need to invest substantial amount of capital. Substantial means that you really invest enough funds to make this business profitable, because you do want to have a profitable business. Okay, and profitable means that the business is making more than the minimum marginal amount for you to survive. Okay, so again, if you want to go deeper into this, I do have specifically videos on this on my YouTube channel. So you want to make sure that the business is going to make profit. You want to make sure that it's real business, it's real and active business, and it's not marginal. Also, another frequently asked question, actually the number one frequently asked question is, how do we invest? Okay, how do we invest substantial amount of capital? And what is the substantial amount of capital? And that is calculated based on your business model and actually how much do you need to make this business profitable. So if you're buying a restaurant that is existing business and the purchase cost is, I don't know, $300,000, if you just invest $50,000, you're probably not going to qualify for E2 visa, right? Because it's not meeting the requirement of substantial amount. However, if you're just getting started, maybe you have marketing agency and you invest $100,000, that's a good price. That's a good amount for you to be able to get going and create a profitable business. Okay, so it really depends. It can be anywhere from, in my opinion, from 50,000 to $500,000, which is the minimum, 50,000 to $500,000, depending on a business model. Also, another point to understand is when you are planning on this E2 visa, you want to make sure, like I already mentioned this, you think long-term business strategy, because you want to create business that eventually can lead to this green card. So this is the key here, guys. This is the strategy people actually pay me for, because we want to create business that would qualify. Okay. I did qualify with my business, but it wasn't a straightforward path. And I will talk about those requirements later on. If we want to skip EB5, because we want to skip EB5, that's how I'm going to save you the money. I'm going to save you the millions if we skip EB5. And you might end up investing $500,000 down the road or $300,000 down the road, but it's still better than investing $1 million plus and hiring 10 people. And I will explain that in this webinar. So again, we're thinking strategy, we're thinking long-term, and we want to think bigger, guys. Why? Because when you think bigger with this business, you're not just thinking small, like how can I just get E2 visa? Because that's my end goal. Because I don't want to go bigger, right? If you're just thinking that end goal in your mind, you will probably, most likely, hopefully get your E2 visa, but that's when you get stuck, guys. So let me explain what I mean by that. I got stuck myself. Like I got that E2 visa, right? I created my law firm. I started to help other people. And then I was like, what the heck now? I can't just be renewing my E2 visa. I need my green card. And again, I was talking to other people and everybody, like all these, colleagues and from immigration community, they were like, well, you could do EB5, but that's pretty much it. I'm like, I don't want to invest $1 million and hire 10 full-time people just for the sake of EB5 application, right? So I was stuck at that point, right? This was like right after, I got the E2, probably 2-3 years later. I was thinking long-term strategy. It was already too late. If I had that blueprint, that exact blueprint before, I would probably be able to get my green card faster. That's why, guys, you are here today, and this is perfect blueprint for you if this is the strategy, because you literally are getting things that took me 10 years to figure out for free. Okay, so I hope you're enjoying so far. Now, the most important thing to mention, and again, this is from my experience, because people I talk to, there's so many people with great ideas. There's so many people who want to actually come to the United States. So many people who want to, get their E2 visa, get their business started. And yet, guess what? They procrastinate because they think they're not ready. Well, let me tell you the truth, guys. You will never be ready. Never. I wasn't certainly ready when I started. I was forced to make it happen, which was a blessing. But maybe some of you are not forced. Maybe you're good back home. You know what I mean? And for you, you don't feel the pressure, but many of you might feel the pressure. So you need to start before you're ready. Just get started with the process. You will figure it out on the way, especially if you do have the right person, you do have the blueprint, you will figure it out. So start before you're ready. What do I mean by that? Take the first step, okay? It doesn't have to be necessarily perfect. If you don't have the funds, there are ways you can obtain funds. I do have certain resources for my private clients, but as long as you're coming from a legal source, you're fine. So here's one of the case studies from E2 investor visa. This gentleman has E2 visa. This was during COVID, and he is, I believe this is multiple seven-figure company right now. Now, the next step. What if you don't qualify for E2? Frequently asked question. What if you don't qualify for E2? Well, if you don't qualify for E2, there is always plan B, right? I don't like plan B, but there is one, and that is L1 visa. So L1 visa, I'm just gonna give you the shortcut here, is for people who already have existing business. So you need to first start with the business back home, and then you can apply for L1 visa in United States, and make sure you are running that business for at least 1 year, and then you actually be able to get the L1 visa. Excuse me. Here's the disadvantage of L1 visa, guys. You will get initially L1 visa issued for 1 year only, which in my opinion is a very short time, especially for entrepreneur, you know, because to be honest, as an entrepreneur who is just getting started, within a 1 year, most likely you're not going to develop the business to the point where you can apply for extension. And therefore, you know, if, for example, right now you are on L visa and you on L visa for 1 year and you want to go from L, or you actually want to extend it and you can, or you don't qualify, or your application was denied, then you can actually switch to E2. Okay. The reason is it's easier to get E2 as long as, provided that you invest a substantial amount of capital, than L1 extension. And it's that is based on my experience with entrepreneurs who run companies that are international. They have office in one country and then they have another office in United States, and maybe in overseas they have like 100 employees. But in the United States, maybe they have only 5 employees, and with these 5 employees, they were not able to get extension. We just get them E2 visa. Okay. So, however, guys, still it's better than no plan B, right? If you have no plan B, that would be the worst case scenario. At least we do have plan B. So for those who are not on E2 visa because you are not able to apply for E2 visa because you are not from the treaty country, you can do L1. Also, what you could do, you can obtain a citizenship from different country, for example, Grenada, and then once you obtain that citizenship, then you can apply for E2. And I think it costs around $300,000 to do that. Typically, all my clients are E2 visa investors, or they would qualify normally because they are from treaty countries. But these would be 2 ways to go for you if you cannot actually right away go to E2. In my opinion, I would rather do L, and if that doesn't work, then I would get a citizenship of another country. Okay. Number 5 is so once you have that E2 visa, okay, once you have that E2 visa, you're under E2 visa status, what you should be thinking from the very, very beginning, guys, even before you apply for E2 visa, which should be part of your business plan, is that long-term strategy. How do I scale my company to 7 figures, multiple 7 figures, or 8 figures? Why? Because if you are able to do that, not only you will truly live your American dream, right? But also you will be able to, because of that impact that you are creating, you will be able to transition to that green card that we are going to discuss today. And so your number 1 strategy as an entrepreneur should be, how can I make more profit? How can I actually scale my business to 7 figures plus? You probably agree with me on that, because if you just stuck at 6 figures, it's very hard to get that green card that we are going to brainstorm today. So how do you scale to 7 figures in 12 months? That's the question people ask, especially someone who right now is on E2 visa, and you probably are already in the US, and you are wondering, how do I grow my business, right? So my number 1 advice is really niche down. Whatever you do, whether it's a product-based or service-based, super niche down, guys, super niche down. Like I only do in this company, and I have 2 companies. In this company, I only serve entrepreneurs. And these are entrepreneurs who want E2 visa. These are entrepreneurs who want to grow to 7 figures. And these are entrepreneurs who are ambitious. They want to change the world and they want to actually get that green card. So we're talking super niche down. So whatever you do with your business, niche down, guys. Honestly, riches are in the niches. You probably heard this before. And again, doesn't matter whether it's a service-based or it's product-based business model. In your marketing, you want to be super familiar with the pain points of your clients, super familiar. Also, you want to make sure that you do have exceptional offer with exceptional value. Because when you think about it, this is logic, guys. If your business is not growing, it's probably either you don't have good niche or good market in that case, right? Not growing market or neutral market, or you don't have exceptional offer, or you're not offering with that offer exceptional value. And then you're competing with your quote unquote competition and you're lowering your price because you're competing with them. You're just mediocre service provider or mediocre business owner. And that is actually forcing you to lower your price, lower your margins, and eventually go out of business. Well, I never coach my clients like that. We do the exact opposite. We actually make sure that the offer is exceptional because we provide exceptional solution. But for us to do that, we absolutely understand the deep pain points of the clients. We are solving real problems. And then we are positioning premium from the get-go. So once this position premium, kind of like Tesla positioned themselves premium first. They were selling $250,000 car, then they lower it to $100,000, and then they went lower to $30,000 car. Then they start selling mainstream. So if you do it the opposite, you're just getting started as an entrepreneur, you're selling mainstream, that's like not way to go. That's the worst way to go. Now, here's a case study, guys. This is one of my clients. I love this guy. He went from 20K a month to 7 figures in 12 months. True story. So if that's something that you want, you're welcome to reach out and we can discuss further how I can help you. Number 6 is to apply for a green card. So how do we apply for a green card? That's the $1 million question, right? And we don't apply for this green card before like we first want to create that growth in the business, and then we want to apply for the green card. Unless you want to burn your money. And I will explain what do I mean by that. I want you to skip EB5 program. I don't like EB5 program. I really don't. And here is why. There is only 10,000 visas per year. Okay, that being said, huge backlogs. Number 2, you have to invest $1 million and create 10 full-time jobs. Or you invest $500,000. Right now, still the $500,000 is in place, which was lowered last year. And this $500,000, however, must be invested in targeted employment areas, right? Which is the area with high unemployment rate, or into rural areas with population less than 20,000. And you have to create 10 full-time jobs. So let me just give you the perspective here. Let's say you invest $500,000. Out of this $500,000, you need to hire 10 full-time people. So that being said, you need to invest, and it's probably going to cost you around $300,000 from these funds. So that's the way to go if you want to get EB5 green card in that lowest category. And then you're left with $200,000. That is not really smart way to go. Okay, what if you don't want to invest in targeted employment areas? What if your business model doesn't even fit into targeted employment area, right? Because these are specific area designed for that purpose, right? So what if that's the case, right? And what if you don't want to actually base this business in rural area? What if you don't want to live in area that has population less than 20,000? Or maybe it doesn't make sense for your business. Think about that. So these are all the questions you need to actually answer before you want to apply for EB5. Lastly, what if you don't even have $500,000 right now, right? And what if you probably already heard about the regional center projects? The regional center projects right now, as far as I know, they're not available. This regional center project is not available right now, but let me just give you what I thought about regional center projects. That's usually where you invest $500,000. But these are the worst projects, in my opinion, because it's complete waste of money, because you invest into project that is outside of your control. You don't have direct control. Essentially, it's a fund where you are loaning your money. Okay, mostly wealthy Chinese were buying these EB5 green cards like that. So you loan the money, you have no control, and you don't even have a good return on investment if you have any, or you have no return on investment. And eventually, this is complete waste of $500,000. In other words, you're just buying a green card, but you don't even know when you're going to get it, especially if you're from those countries that are impacted by this backlog. Therefore, in my opinion, EB5 is a waste of time and money. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that? So the $1 million question is, why would you want to waste your money like that? So let that sink in, right? And this program, I'm not saying that it's totally bad. For some people it works, it's perfect, but it wasn't something that I personally wanted to pursue. And quite frankly, back then I did not have $1 million waiting in my account, right? So there is a different way you can do this. And this is the path that I took myself. And I call this way better way. It's a smarter way. It's more elegant way. Certainly you will have more return on investment. It's my way. So it's called EB2 National Interest Waiver Green Card. So let me just give you the overview. What is this green card about? And then I'm also going to be honest with you, because I will give you my opinion, my honest opinion. Is this for everyone? Is this for everybody here? You need to understand first, like, who is this green card for, and can you actually do that? Because not everybody can actually apply for it. However, is it possible? Is it doable? Heck yeah, it's absolutely doable. So you need to be exceptional entrepreneur in your field. You also need to create a business that has national importance. Now we're looking at that importance, not necessarily from geographic point of view, but rather as the impact that you are creating. Therefore, guys, I always say, think bigger from the very beginning. You need to have the proper strategy for that. Your work has substantial merit, and you personally, as an entrepreneur, you are capable to advance this business endeavor. So that being said, you have those skills to actually make this happen. You have those skills to grow this business. You have those skills to create that impact. You have those skills. It can be educational skill, or it can be skills acquired over the years based on your experience. And you are the one who is able to create that impact. And then this green card is absolutely for you. Now, what is that advantage of EB2 National Interest Waiver Green Card? So just to compare, this green card is actually, I believe the cap is 10 times more than EB5 category, 140,000 per year. So that already gives you perspective. There is no perm requirement. So that being said, no labor certification, which is saving a lot of time, because normally when you go through the green card process, you need to have the perm, which is the labor certification from Labor Department first, and then only then you can apply. Then there's no $1 million investment requirement, right? Or 1.8, they're going to change it back as it used to be with EB5. And you are in a total control. So it's not like you give this money away, $500,000 to some project and you never see return on investment. That's also, in my opinion, lottery. Also, it's one of the fastest green cards. And certainly you do have return on investment if provided you are building a real business. And there is no requirement to hire 10 full-time jobs. However, guys, typically when you build that company, you end up hiring people. And that's like the next logical step for your business, right? And your business growth. However, there is no such a thing as 10 full-time jobs right away. And therefore, you are actually saving 300,000. Just if you just hire these 10 people, it will probably cost you around something like that. Now, disadvantage, guys. So, extremely difficult green card. What do I mean by that? We're talking evidence that can be long, like 3,000 pages, 4,000 pages long evidence. These requirements for this green card are not black and white. So with EB5 green card, for example, the requirement is very straightforward. You know, okay, you have to invest $500,000 or 1 million, 10 full-time jobs. The business must be commercial enterprise. You have to invest from legal source and so on. With this EB5, EB2 green card, the requirements are not black and white. So why? Because this is green card where the USCIS officers have discretionary power and they can exercise their discretionary power. And that being said, it's lots of relative input. In other words, they're exercising discretion over your case in a very subjective matter, even though they have guidelines not to exercise in a subjective matter. So therefore, it's absolutely important that you not only submit evidence that is powerful, which is going to reflect the reality of your business, that your business is making impact, and I'm just putting it in simple terms here, but also you're working with a person who knows exactly how this can be done for your particular business. Because the good thing about EB2 is that recently there were made some changes as well. More and more entrepreneurs will be actually applying for EB2 green card. The immigration in the United States is very much opening up towards entrepreneurship and so on. So really, you know, the USCIS officers will try to help you out if you would qualify. However, I have to tell you how it is. You know, it is extremely difficult green cards to get because of that nature of the green card. However, I know it can be done if it's done properly from the very beginning. And if you have the exact blueprint from the very, very beginning, it can be absolutely done. I am the living example. I am the breathing example that it can be done. Okay. So who do we typically work with? Who is example of someone who would work with this green card? This is me publishing media, some stories about my business success. And who are the people that typically are suitable for this type of green card? So usually it's ambitious immigrant entrepreneur who can invest anywhere from 20,000 to $500,000. And it really depends. Again, guys, like I don't get caught up with these numbers because it really depends. Like every business is different. It's all about making impact. You can even get this green card if you don't have monetary evidence of financial impact yet. However, there is the solid future projection and high probability that you will create that impact, which is again all relative terms, right? So therefore, don't be like attached exactly to these numbers, but this is something based on my experience, like from 200,000 plus would be somebody who can typically, if provided that has the business model that is suitable for that, could apply or is in business, existing business, right? And minimum like 20,000 investment plus. Smart, innovative entrepreneurs, right? It could be startup, it could be founders of these startups. It could be anybody who's thinking outside of the box, providing solution on large scale. It could be national scale or even global scale. Visionaries, game changers, and mavericks. These are really people who are getting this type of green cards. Therefore, I really want to encourage you to think outside of the box, think bigger. If you have that business idea, how can you even stretch it further? Like, how can you go bigger? People who are very good at what they do, right? So, and this is just a simplified term, right? To be exceptional in your field. You can stand out because you're doing things in a different way, right? You have that niche that is so unique and very different compared to your competition, right? And, if that's you, you can actually build a business from different angle. Again, comes down to the strategy we need to prepare from the get-go, guys. That's why this type of green card is doable for creative people, is doable for visionaries, is doable for innovative entrepreneurs, right? That's the most important thing. The other things like funds and all of that can be done, but you have to be the one who is holding the vision. You have to be that dream maker, if you will. And myself, this certainly did work for myself. I'm the case study number one. So let's talk about some of the case studies here. This was one of our clients, entrepreneur from San Francisco. This is another client. And actually this particular client was an international business who went from that L visa to E2 visa, as I was mentioning to you. This is another one, another investor. This is another investor, startup in particular, that was able to achieve great success. Here are some case studies. Entrepreneurs, investors, if you're looking to move to the US, create seven-figure business, invest today, unleash the passion, unprecedented success, and live your American dream. This is way to go for you. So guys, we are at the end. Now, if you are someone who wants to start this process, if you are someone who resonates with this information, if you're someone who is on E2 visa, you want to upgrade to this green card. If you're someone who wants to, like I already shared, one of the case studies, upgrade your business from 20K a month to seven figures in 12 months. If you're someone who wants the whole process, you're welcome to apply privately with me and become my premium client. I usually take a handful of premium clients per year. The reason is because this journey I share with you today typically takes about 2.5 years. So in some cases 3. So it requires a lot of different steps on the way. And I'm very selective with people I work with because not everybody is eligible. I work with, so many different E2 investors, but get you from that beginning to that green card and eventually, get you to that seven figure. It's a very different journey, right? It requires, different steps and a different strategy. So if you are someone who is absolutely certain that you want to do this, you are welcome to book a consultation with me. To book the consultation is just go to this link, immigrationbiz.com/consultation. Scroll down, you can choose if you want to do 15-minute consultation or you want to do 30-minute consultation. It's up to you. First step is to book a consultation with me. And then we are going to brainstorm on this call. How can I help you to actually get there? And again, I'm going to be honest with you. I tell you upfront how it is. When I hear your idea or when I hear your current status, your application status, or maybe you haven't applied for E2 visa, that's okay. Because ideally, we want to start from the very beginning before you even apply for E2 visa and then take you there all the way, if you know what I mean. So this is how you apply to work with me privately. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take a look at some of your questions. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen. Excuse me. Oops. My video is weird, but at least you can see my face. Okay, what's wrong with my video? Sorry for the background. I didn't even fix the background. Okay, and I'm gonna take a look at some of your questions, guys. Okay, let me fix this. And you know what, why don't I give you the link where you can apply. Give me a sec. Okay, give me a second, guys. Let me give you the link, okay? Okay. So I just gave you the link for you guys to book the consultation. You can also reach out to my office if you want to book the link. I mean, book the consultation. Okay. Oxbridge Group. Fantastic presentation. Australia has E3 visa. We are a registered company in the EU. Is the process the same essentially? So as far as I understand, the E3 it's a work visa. E3 is a work visa. Oxbridge Group. So it's different than E2. And you're welcome to reach out. You know, if you need more information, you can book a consultation. We can discuss how I can help. SurfTech is saying, I have LLC already, though not profitable per se. Last year we did 10K. Okay, that's definitely marginal business. So you need to focus on growing your business. So SurfTech, I highly recommend that you reach out, and I do have business coaching programs, how you can grow this business. And if you are at 10K, you can grow it to 6 figures the next 6 months or 12 months, or even you can do 7 figures. But for 7 figures, I have a very different coaching packages. However, the main focus for you, SurfTech, should be growing your business right now, because 10,000. Is this the year revenue, or is this per month? If this is per month, you're in a good shape to grow it to 7 figures. But if this is per year, then absolutely you need to focus on growing your business. But congratulations that you do have existing LLC. That's a good start. All right, I am on F1 visa. Don't you need US citizen to start business with? No, you don't need anybody. I was on F1 visa and I didn't have anybody to start business with. And certainly you don't need any US citizen to start business with, if you know what I mean. Because there is no requirement. There is no such a thing that you have to have a business partner if you want to get E2 visa or L visa or whatever other visa. You can totally start business on your own. In fact, my clients are not even based in the US when we start in company for them, and they are not even here when we are opening accounts. So certainly, to answer this question, you don't need any business partner, you don't need any US citizen partner. In fact, if you are someone who wants to get E2 and you do partner up with E2 investor, you want to make sure you own at least 51%. Otherwise, you cannot even apply for E2. Does it make sense? Love your questions, guys, by the way. Hao Liang is asking, in talking about hiring employees, what is the difference between part-time and full-time? Does hiring part-time do anything towards applying for entrepreneur parole green card in the future? Thanks, Marita. I have to go. Okay, so full-time is 40 hours per week. Part-time is 20 hours per week. If you are applying for parole, which is the international entrepreneur parole rule, that is not a green card, just so you know. That is just parole, okay? There is no requirement in that parole to apply for to gain part-time and full-time employee staff. If you want to apply for EB2, national insurance waiver, again, there's no such requirement. If you want to apply for EB5, which I don't recommend, you know why, you need to hire 10 full-time. That being said, people who are on payroll 40 hours per week, okay? But again, the parole, if you ask me about the parole, the entrepreneur parole rule, parole is for startup founders. You need to own at least 10% in the company. You have to show that you raised $250,000 from VCs or angel investors, or 100,000 from government, and then you are eligible. But this is just a solution, temporary solution for startups, which, yeah, it's not really long-term solution. And in that case, I wouldn't even worry about, you know, the hiring staff question. And if you ask me about the parole rule, I'm not a big fan. I'm a big fan of E2 visa. However, if you are someone who is actually using other funds, like you're raising funds, and you don't qualify for E2 because you have raised funds from VCs and angel investors, then go with parole. However, you know, and part of the immigration reform, and recently I made a video on this, is that there is a W visa, which is a similar visa. There's a proposal of W visa. You can go to my channel, YouTube channel, check out the recent video. I did explain the rule, which talks about basically W visa, which is similar to parole, but is actually path down the road to a green card, but it's not yet law, guys. So again, it's just a speculation. But again, if you don't have any other option, you are not investing your money, this is a startup and you don't have a choice, then you do parole. Eric, is it possible to get E2 visa if I want to start housekeeper business with investment of $15,000? All right, $15,000 for any business is super low. I will not start E2 visa application with $15,000. But you can, you know, get a loan. You can combine different sources of investment, and then, you know, apply for E2 visa. But I would not start E2 visa application with just $15,000. It's way too low. Galaxy is asking, how about marriage visa? I don't do marriage visa. Not my niche, not my specialty. I'm not your girl, Galaxy. And yeah, Russia, and he's like, good luck, Russia attack Ukraine. Yes, it's very sad what's going on in Ukraine, and my heart is with people because I'm Eastern European, you know, and actually Slovakia is bordering country with Ukraine. It's just super sad what's going on there. And yeah, I do meditate and pray for my people so they can stay safe and this madness will end. Okay, let's take a look at some of your questions and then we're going to wrap up. And for those who want to talk to me, you guys are welcome to reach out and book a consultation. Okay. It looks like people are still joining. I don't know if the Zoom is kicking you out or what's going on here. Okay, let me have a sip.
Hello.
Okay. So Christian is asking, I just want to double check if whenever your E2 visa finishes, are you going to sponsor yourself? Yeah, you can, I mean, hopefully, right? It looks like, Christian, you missed the presentation because you are asking me question that is clearly showing me you were not here. I was explaining during this whole webinar, what do you do and how you actually go from E2 to a green card. So I highly recommend that, you know, if you are on my mailing list, stay tuned for the upcoming email, because in that email, I will share with you how you can actually watch this PowerPoint presentation again and gather information. Because to answer your question, how does E2 visa provide individual with direct pathway to green card, this is the actually content of the entire webinar, Christian. Okay, or you can book a consultation with me. And for purposes of consultation, visit this link. I'm going to type it here for you, whoever is tuning in now. Or you can just visit my website and you can find the way you can book the consultation there. All right, so that's that.
I would like to ask a question about.
Okay, give me a second, guys. Give me a second. I'm just typing something.
Can we ask questions? I have.
Okay, so if you have a question, you can type it and I will choose your question so everybody else can benefit. And if I don't cover your question, unfortunately, you can book a consultation, because there are other people during this webinar here who also have a question, and I'm actually answering the question based on the content, so it can benefit other people as well. So you can type your question. And just keep yourself muted, please. Okay, I will be starting business with two partners. Josh is asking. One is personal e-residence in the US. You mean the person has the residency? And another one has B1 visa. What do you recommend? To answer it, Josh, like it depends, like what kind of business is it going to be? What is the objective of the business? In general, I don't do corporation unless you plan to raise funds. If you don't plan to raise money, you can have, multiple member LLC. But to answer it properly, I think you need to book a consultation, to be perfectly honest, because the business has different goals and different, long-term strategies, and it's also connected with the tax structure. So, yeah. But to simply answer the question, if it's raising funds down the road, do corporation. If it's not, do LLC. Oxbridge is asking for the consultation. You can open a slot around this time. Okay, so I work with I'm on Eastern Standard Time, and if you cannot find appropriate slot, you can you can email at office@immigrationbiz.com. But typically, I'm not gonna wake up in the middle of the night. Unfortunately, I have family and I can't, be in office in these hours. So, but maybe we can accommodate you in some way, and definitely send us email. Okay, I'm just gonna send you this so you know where to send it. All right, guys, I'm going to take a last question and then we're going to slowly wrap up. But you guys are amazing and I love your questions. iPhone is saying, I have study license visa. You mean you have F1 visa from United States. Thank you very much. Okay, great. All right. Pakistan. I have already B1, B2 and around 100K. Advise me, I'm from Pakistan. Okay, Pakistan would qualify for E2. 100K is okay, but I need to know more information about your business. Faisal. So please do book a consultation, Faisal, because, 100K is okay, provided that the business model is suitable. If you have a business model that is, I need to know the information about the business. But in general, it would qualify. If you are in the US under B visa, you can change your status. You don't have to leave the country as well. Okay. Last question. Havak, business with tech, Spanish citizen, found funds, 85,000. Okay. Spanish citizen qualifies for E2. 85,000 sounds okay, but I need to know more information because, when you just say tech business, I don't know if 85 is sufficient. Is it startup? Do you play to raise funds, or what's the deal? Please do book a consultation. All right. Okay, guys, let's do last question and we're gonna wrap up. I'm from India. I won't qualify for E2. Okay. Yes, it looks like you missed the webinar. I was already mentioning that you can do L visa if you don't qualify for E2. Consider L visa. I do have Snaguri. I do have a video, private video on either. Actually, no. I'm gonna give you the video that are available publicly. Go to YouTube channel, type L visa. My YouTube channel, Immigration Biz. Type L visa. And watch the requirements. This would be way to go for you if you are from India, or you can obtain a citizenship through different country like Grenada. Okay, guys, you were amazing. Thank you so much for your patience. Apologize for the beginning because we had the issue with the server. And for those who will book a call with me, I will talk to you soon. And for those who are wondering if you came late, stay tuned for the email that will come up, follow-up email in your mailbox, because I will be sending a recording, even though we were not planning it. I will be sending recording, so you do have that, and you can watch the PowerPoint presentation again, watch everything again, and for then after that, if you have questions, reach out to book a consultation. Just go to immigrationbiz.com and /work with us, and you will be able to do that. So thank you so much, everybody. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.